Hey, welcome to episode number 3 of Tuning In with Your Cycle. Today we're going to talk about the follicular phase. What happens science-wise in your body during this time? What are the best foods to eat to support this phase? What type of workout is the best? And a couple of red flags to keep in mind, okay? So the follicular phase usually starts right after the last day of your bleed, okay? So it usually lasts between 7 to 10 days, and during this time it's actually pretty cool because your hypothalamus, which is situated around here and it's the size of an almond, sends a signal to your pituitary gland, which is like right underneath it, and it's like a chickpea size. It sends a signal to it to send follicle stimulating hormone, also known as FSH hormone, to your ovaries to start stimulating them, for them to start maturing new follicles to get ready for ovulation. During this time, estrogen starts to rise, and the uterine lining, which is the one that sheds during your menstrual phase, the uterine lining starts to thicken in order to prepare it in case there's a fertilized egg later on. Okay, so that's internally what's happening. So because estrogen levels start to rise, you're gonna notice that after your menstrual phase, you're also gonna start having more energy, which is pretty cool because you start feeling really good, really energetic. You also start feeling like way more creative, and you're not gonna let me lie, but it's when the time when you feel at your best, when you feel like your hair is like falling the way you want it to fall, like your skin looks better, your clothes are feeling better. All that happens during this phase. And if you haven't noticed that, check how you feel and relate it to the cycle you're at, and you're gonna notice this big difference during this time. So also during the follicular phase, as the estrogen raises, and as I said, your energy raises, this is the best time to focus on cardio training, okay? If you like that spin class, if you like interval jogging, whatever you like, that it's cardio that's gonna make your heart pump faster, blood faster, anything that's gonna make you like really sweat, this is the time to do it, because this is the time where you're gonna be more like ready for it, when you're not gonna get as exhausted as like when you would get like what you would get on your luteal phase, you know what I mean? So this is a time to do so. And also this is a time where you're very receptive to things. So if you want to learn new things, if you want to go into an, I don't know, a new like dance class, and if you want to socialize, this is the time to do all that, to socialize, to learn new things. If you have your own business, this is the time where you're going to be the most creative. And even if you don't have a business, if you like doing projects that need a lot of creativity, or your job is like creativity, this is the best time to do those things, because it is when you're like at your best, right? So that's what's happening in your body, with your biochemistry, with your brain, with your emotions. That's everything in the follicular phase. Now, how are you gonna support this phase? So another cool fact here is that your metabolism is a little bit slower during this time, but not in a bad way. It is a little slower in the way that it doesn't need a lot of extra calories or a lot of like more food than what you need in your luteal phase, which we're going to talk about that later. So this is the time to focus on fresh and vibrant foods. Like if you love salads, this is the time to have salads. If you don't, I still encourage to have like tons of fruits, tons of vegetables. I'm gonna sound super cliche, but this is a time to really eat the rainbow and support your body with all those nutrients, especially if you are trying to conceive. And even if you're not trying to conceive, it's really, really important to get to ovulation, which I'm gonna explain that later, because we really need ovulation in order to keep our hormones balanced, regardless if you're trying to conceive or not. So that's your focus right now. Tons of fruits, tons of vegetables, tons of salads. It is best to cook not overly cook your meals, so sauteing or steaming your foods, that's the best way to do during this phase. Well, that's the best thing to do during this phase, okay? And another super important thing that nobody ever tells us about is including probiotic foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, all these like probiotic foods, pickles are very, very important during these time because we have a group of bacteria in our gut called estroblome, and that estroblome usually helps us metabolize estrogen. So when that is balanced, we prevent excess estrogen, right? So the probiotic foods support the good bacteria in your gut. They're going to support this group of important bacteria called estroblome, and it's going to help you prevent excess estrogen. It's going to help you metabolize it better, and it's going to make you feel overall better, right? So those are really important to include during this phase. Now, what are a couple of red flags that I want you to notice? Okay, so if you're noticing that your energy is not going up as it should be going up, if you feel like still tired, if it takes you a while to, after your menstrual phase, to keep going, like to start going again, if you still feel like a little bit brain foggy, not very creative, if you still feel like you don't really want to socialize, you can be an introvert, but but it's very different from when you really don't want to talk to anybody. Start noticing those signals, because that's when there might be a hormonal imbalance going on, okay? And that's when you want to really support this phase in order to start feeling more energetic. And you're gonna notice, even implementing lighter foods, more vegetables, as I said, like sauteing, steaming them, and all that, you're gonna notice that your energy levels are gonna get better just by doing that, if you need just to focus on one thing. Because I know I cover a lot and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So focusing on one thing and implementing one thing can really do wonders for you. Now, if these sounds like a lot, like thinking about workout, thinking about like fresh, vibrant foods, thinking about all these things, one thing that you can really do to support your body, and I've talked about it a million times and I sound like a broken record, but is seed cycling. You have no idea how many women have messaged me since they started seed cycling, how much better they feel and how much of a big difference it's made on their cycles. So it's super easy to do, it's super natural. I have a full guide with a mini training course. It's completely free. You can grab it on the link in my bio, and it honestly, it's a very, very good starting point if you want to support your cycle. If you want to balance your hormones, this is the best way to start. Okay, so just as a quick recap, your follicular phase lasts between 7 to 10 days, happens right after your menstrual phase. Estrogen starts to rise, therefore you have more energy. Because you have more energy, it is really cool time to focus on cardio trainings. It is also, your brain is a little bit more receptive to things, so you are more creative and you feel more social. And the red flag to keep in mind always is that if your energy is still low and you still need tons of coffee to get you through your day, then there's something going on, and if you start implementing some of these little things, you're gonna notice a difference. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can always send me a direct message. And keep an eye, because next week we're going to talk about ovulation and how important it is for your body, whether you're trying to conceive or not. Okay, so keep an eye for that, and I'll see you next week. Bye.